on Reddit 4 days. It's Navi versus IG. Welcome into the draft, ladies and gentlemen. I'm LD. I'm joined by my partner in crime, Luminous. Oh man, it feels like the International 2 all over again, getting small goosebumps all over my body. Lumi, IG versus Navi, Game 1, draft now underway. How do you like it so far?
Navi gets the tried and true Darkseer. Well, of course, Wisp being banned out, I think that's probably the most important thing to point out. But Darkseer, Funnick, one of his best heroes, even though it's not the flashy clinks. He plays this hero very well. But I like where IG's coming out right now with their bans. They're banning out nothing but powerful gankers, the Wisp, the Puck, and the Nyx Assassin. They just want to take the game a little bit more slowly. They know they have perhaps higher individual skill. If they take the game slowly, where you take away the clutchness factor of Navi, they should be able to kind of win most stages of the game.
Now, whenever you say that, if you give away Darkseer, the potential for epic combos is still going to be there.
Right, right.
A couple of Dendy heroes get banned. You mentioned the Puck, the Storm as well. What I really like for this draft for IG is that they've picked really strong laning heroes. Visage, Weaver, heroes that, first of all, Weaver very good against Lifesteal and Darkseer. No lockdown on these two to speak of until much later on when items come out. Things like Sight the Vice, things like Basher for the Lifestealer. But that's a long way off. Strong laners, independent heroes, and heroes that can take the pressure to Navi. So Dendy may not get the kind of support, and you look at Navi heading into this game, they were up against much more passive Chinese teams. Teams like Tongfu, LGD China, teams that like to sit back and play more defensively and reactive Dota. And that's where Navi could really punish them. Or where they could punish them by rotating Puppy in, setting up a lot of early aggression, and getting Denny that fast start in the mid lane. But now with these aggressive laners for IG, I think Puppy will have to turn his attention elsewhere.
Yeah, now with the way that the draft started for Invictus Gaming, they don't have too much stuns either. So that means in the lane that they're trying to kill, for example, Lifestealer, that's going to be a tough one to kill. Darkseers are automatically a little bit tougher. It depends on your support. And you generally give Dendy one of those heroes that could escape in the form of a Puck or Quap. Now, Puck is banned out here, so I'm not sure whether Invictus Gaming will have the general offense that they'd like to filter through, simply because they lack the stun so far. But you could quickly remedy that. That's going to be Kuroki's Puck, or not Puck, Rubik being selected.
Yeah, the Kuroki Rubik, he plays a lot of Rubik. Like Bruno said, over 70%, I believe, for all his games, at least on Navi. And for IG, what do they go for here? You mentioned they're lacking stuns. They probably still need that solo mid for 430. This could be a YYF Weaver. It could be a Zhou Weaver. We'll have to see where they take it. And then they'll be looking at those supports. Something for Chuan, perhaps. The Visage could be his hero. I'm not sure if he or Faith actually plays it, but
I think Faith plays that one.
Okay, so they'll still need Chuan's hero then. Rubik, one of his signatures. They won't go to it here. What do you go for if you're IG?
I think you want to secure your off lane first right now, because I feel the mid and as well as the support could be still very versatile. If they want to pick up DK, it's definitely a hero that both teams use. I don't like Navi using it, but Invictus Gaming definitely push a lot better with it. They do a lot more early game team fight. You go Drums DK, and not only does he push, he also team fights quite effectively. So I don't think that's a bad pick. It's another hero that it's great laning, like you talked about. Invictus Gaming definitely focusing on that stage of the game.
Yeah, they have the Visage, they have the Weaver. That could be the makings of a tri-lane. Weaver could be one of their solo heroes. Where do they go from here? The Rubik is important in this game because he gives you much needed lockdown versus Weaver. Also, if Kuroki can steal Sakuchi, that would be enormous in this game.
That's so annoying to deal with.
I'm very curious if IG will go for something like a 430 Brewmaster. Pretty good for kiting and dealing with heroes like Rubik, Darkseer. I guess it's a bit vulnerable to having your ultimate stolen.
Yeah, I don't think it's too good against Lifestealer as well, because Drunken Haste, you could easily rage it off.
That's true.
So
maybe not then.
Not this particular game, but definitely one of his very good heroes.
There's also a Templar Assassin, minus armor, very potent against Lifestealer. There is Ion Shell to remove Refraction, but is it really going to be a Darkseer mid? That's not something Navi have run very often, so maybe they look towards a 430 TA. Windrunner will be the choice. YYF can play this, Chuan can play this, and I imagine it's going to be a YYF Windrunner. Probably the farmer in that tri-lane.
Those YYF Shackle shots from the past. Let's see if it's going to be here today. Now,
and there's no more Light of Heaven. Not in this team anyway.
Not in this matchup. Now, Windrunner, we've seen the rise of Windrunner in the past couple of weeks, but what the theme of the Windrunner doing well is you don't give her that suicide lane, because she just can't handle it. Teams have figured out how to beat her. You have to give her a little bit of support early. Sometimes you even put her mid. But if you just give her the suicide solo lane, you can't do too much. Now, when your Weaver is your carry, you could easily just run offensive trialing a la Orange style and let your Weaver farm the safe lane. And not only do you have a ton of harass and a ton of healing power, it really allows your support to rotate off. And this is an OD from Navi, something that we haven't seen too much. They may not be, or they were pretty high on the creative hexagons, and well,
we've seen Mushi play this an awful lot. That mid OD against what IG has, we'll beat any of these heroes 1v1. Even a Weaver, so reliant on mana, it probably won't die to an OD, but is going to struggle to farm. I like this pick a lot. It's a pretty independent laner. And they have a Darkseer and a Lifestealer, very strong side lane heroes, whether they're in a tri-lane or a solo. And that means that, well, for IG, it's going to be hard to gank that lane. They'll need to devote a lot of attention to shutting down the Darkseer, trying to slow down the Lifestealer's farm, and that frees up Dendi to have a true 1v1, and arguably the strongest 1v1 hero in the pool, the OD.
Is there any hero that straight up beats OD 1v1?
I've seen KYXY consistently beat OD with Lone Druid. Okay. I've seen him do it at least 2 or 3 times, and I think he was the better player in those particular matchups. But yeah, it's a strong matchup for him. I like this Lone Druid pick a lot, and I'm very curious to hear what Bruno has to say about this.
This is quite an interesting matchup right now. I've seen Owl Devourer destroy Lone Druid a couple times as well. You would expect the Lone Druid to win, but it's all about the base damage. It's all about the bear can't zone you out because it will get the creeps onto you, attacking the bear. I mean, it sounds good in theory, but unless you're really good with entangles, OD can still pull through. But looking at this Merlini, just...
Well, my real question is OD a Dendi hero?
Well, that's a good question.
Because we see Storm and Puck banned out, and I think he's really good on Queen of Pain, Skywrath, those kind of heroes. But OD, I don't think I've ever seen him play.
I think I've saw him playing once. I mean, to be fair, OD is kind of comparatively a low skill ceiling hero.
I would agree with that.
I mean, it's not that it's super easy to play, but compared to a Puck, to a Queen of Pain, there's much less decisions. You can't decide where to drop the hammer and when to just astral imprison someone. Then the rest is right-clicking and use your mech for stuff, whatever. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is a Blink 4 stuff Owl Devourer, based on what Dendi does.
And I'm so glad Bruno mentioned that, because item decisions are one of the most interesting things on OD. We saw a Refresher Orb OD. Was it Mushi who played it?
Oh, look at that. Quantic.
That did a lot of work.
Wow, they were taking a page out of Quantic, I believe, or DD, who ran this before. Treant Protector and Our World Destroyer, one of the easiest way to beat OD in lane is to gank him. You're not ganking this guy with Living Armor. And with Living Armor, you definitely beat Lone Druid, I think.
How do you kill anyone on Navi's team? OD has Astral, Lifestealer's Rage, Darkseer Surge, and they all have Living Armor potentially. It's going to be tough for IG to find kills. What they'll need to focus on is just winning their lanes. And that mid lane, Lone Druid versus OD, I think that'll be the matchup. I think it can go either way.
Do you go Silencer here? It's definitely a hero that IG has picked in the past. They pick it generally against heroes like Anti-Mage because they give you a free gank, but this team is so reliant on their ultimates. No, they're going to go with Sand King. Definitely a tried and true hero for them.
And a Chuan Sand King. It's worth mentioning as a fun flavor comment that this Sand King for Chuan, well, he's playing his 6th now. He will not use the name Chuan until IG takes home a championship, so he's playing with a pseudonym here today. And on that note, we'll see if he can make some progress towards that. On the side of IG, they're the Radiant squad. It's 0-0. Game 1 now underway. Faith on the Visage. YYF handling that Windrunner, one of his classic heroes. Chuan, the Sand King I mentioned earlier. We have a blue Roshan Courier. 4:30 playing the Weaver. And last but not least, it'll be Zhou on the Lone Druid heading mid to 1v1 against Dendi.
Meanwhile, on the Navi side here, Puppy, the captain drafter, going to be playing a pulling, jungling Treant Protector. We have Dendi going on the top lane. It is going to be a Dendi OD. Kuroki, of course, going to be playing that support Rubik. Hovos going up top here as Lifestealer as well. And Funnick, last but not least, handling that Darkseer on the long lane. So we've seen the difference of lanes. Sometimes Dendi go up top nowadays, and Hovos could go mid with Lifestealer. In terms of a mid this game, I imagine it's going to be a Dendi mid. Pretty much sure with the OD and giving Living Armor backup. We
have seen the Lifestealer, at least before, in 6.77b, could dominate Lone Druid 1v1. I think you still have... I don't know if you can kill him, because it's mid lane. It's hard to tower dive as Lifestealer, but you can definitely just right-click his bear, use feast damage, heal yourself up constantly, and CS pretty well in that matchup. So it could even be a Lifestealer mid. That wouldn't shock me, but Dendi will park himself mid, and it is going to be the OD there. IG looks like that aggressive tri-lane. I thought this was one of the keys for them heading into the draft, is to stick with what they're best at, which is early pressure, lane dominance, and just trying to outskill their opponents. And with a Visage tri-lane and Windrunner there as well, it will be a very strong tri-lane, even at the early levels.
They do actually lift up Windrunner, trying to toss him up top to the cliff. Not going to happen. I think perhaps our focus onto the mid matchup might be incorrectly placed. I think the more important matchup is what is Puppy going to do here, because he's going to try to pull for some EXP. It is so easy for everybody on the IG side to walk to the camp and just challenge your pull, because Treant Protector doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and this tri-lane for IG looks very strong. They have great range, great harassment. It's basically your classic counter melee farmer tri-lane, where you have a Windrunner as the farmer, and then some strong ranged hero. We'll actually have a Burrow Strike in off the bat, just harassment on Havos, but really trying to chip away at him. He shouldn't die with living armor, but they can look to outfarm him. Every time he comes near the creeps, IG should be auto-attacking him, should be trying to mess up his last hit timing. The pulling will be important as well. Puppey can go jungle. He's trying to actually deward the pull right now. It looks like has a pair of sentries, waiting for Kuroki there. But as long as IG stop the pulls, force the Treant to go to the jungle, and prevent the Rubik, that's really the key thing. It's not just about shutting down Havos Lumi, it's about slowing down Kuroki's level progression. And right now, the camp is blocked, and it's going to be hard for Kuroki to find any experience.
Meanwhile, let's talk about the bot lane here. 430 is going to be playing against Weaver. The Darkster going to be pulling the creeps into the high-level camp here, so he's going to be double up his farm. This is one of the higher-level tactics that you can be doing to get a little bit ahead in terms of EXP and gold. Very nice.
Can I just say how hard Dendi is already crushing in this lane? 7 and 4. And Joe just struggling to find any last hits. Only 2 and 2. You run the mid lone druid to beat the OD, and right now this is the farthest thing you get from it. And this is a bit of concern for me. But like you said, the good news is 430 is having a blast in that bottom lane. A lot of harassment applied to Funnick. He's got a Sakuchi cooling down and just constantly keeping the pressure. Both heroes should be able to farm, but I like what 430 did, just preventing Funnick from finding those easy neutral camps and getting some extra gold that way.
Yeah, I mean, the mid lane's going to be somewhat in Zo's kind of disadvantage until he hits 4 or 5. That's when the bear as well as synergy start to kind of take over. And if he even wants to pick up an Orb of Venom, that's really annoying.
He actually already has one. He started with one.
Oh,
this
wow.
game. So that's it's a nice harassment ability, but Dendi is living armor on his side, and that means you can harass him all he wants, but he is going to be hard to bring down. He was also pulled, which is part of the reason he's having an edge in this lane, but still. So far, so good in the mid lane for Navi. The bottom lane, fairly even. 430 has a bit of an advantage here in terms of CS. It's close. The tri-lane's the big thing, though. Can IG continue to shut down Kuroki? Can they maybe even find a first blood? If the living armor's used mid, then that's go time, at least potentially, for this tri-lane.
Meanwhile, you can see that it's actually the Radiant that's doing a little bit of pull up top. Kuroki as well as the rest of the Navi tri-lane coming in here, trying to do something about it. I actually don't like this pull because now you can see Navi can safely walk into the jungle and maybe inform some of these neutrals. Power Shot come do not going to be effective, and Puppey can start dewarding here as well. I don't think you need to make that pull when you're so dominant in that lane, but well, IG did it. And
they want to find Havos here. Burrow strikes through, but unfortunately the living armor has come out. Puppey wisely holds it. They can't really engage on IG even after that happens because they just don't have any damage right now. But they aren't dying. That's the big thing. And they get a bit of pull experience. Kuroki hitting level 2. IG keeping the pressure up. So far, your lead farmer is that safe lane Weaver. 17 and 3. Going on to Funnick bottom lane. Won't find a kill just yet. And close behind is Dendi, 12 and 10. Zhou struggling quite a bit here, only 7 and 6.
I think if you're IG, you wait for the living armor to go to the mid lane, and then you make it go on top. Especially on here like a Rubik, who's a very, very easy to pick. Tree's actually not too hard to kill as well. He's high HP, he has... that's it though, like he doesn't have armor, he doesn't have high movement speed, so... It's
a small window. The second that living armor gets used on the mid lane, they have about 10 seconds or so where they can go, because by the time they get there, it'll be 2 or 3, and then he'll pretty much have it back up.
It's a 25-second spell, so or 25-second cooldown, and are they going to make it
go?
They are. Havos does he have rage, but first blood comes up on the bot lane. It's 430. Actually dies on a Weaver. Very surprised that somehow happened. Meanwhile, though, actually the creeps finished the job, although Funnick definitely very happy getting the EXP for that kill.
Yeah, not often do you see a Weaver die 1v1 against the Darkseer. Used Sakuchi, must have had it on cooldown, just got caught out by the Ion Shell damage. Great play from Funnick. That's a matchup that the Weaver should at least break even, and if not, win in the long run, especially because 430 was pulled off the bat. Now he's got boots and bottle, so it's not the worst situation for him. And even the nice thing is, oftentimes when you die in a 1v1 Lumi, you just lose your lane from there. But Weaver, even if this hero dies once, still is going to be able to farm and should be virtually impossible to kill as long as he plays correctly.
He's trying his best to actually harass Funnick. I really don't think that's the way that he should be playing it. Funnick smartly picks up a chainmail first. He knows he's going to be going mech. Might as well pick it early. It's going to deny a lot of harass. It's going to be coming for in 430 away. 430, though, is still very persistent with this harass. Does a fine job zoning Funnick out of lane, at least for now.
It's an early advantage for Navi, a slight one at that, about a 750 gold lead, a 300 experience lead. And Zhou, mid lane, still only 11 and 10, still getting crushed by Dendi in this matchup. Dendi really using Astral nicely. You don't reduce the Lone Druid's damage because he is an agility hero, but if you time the Astral right, he can't get last hits as easily. He's got to rely solely on the bear, and the bear not yet really hitting that max synergy, not hitting as hard as it could be. And top lane, they just can't seem to find a kill. Living Armor, as well as a Lifestealer tri-lane doing work.
Yeah, but here's the bigger question for me is, when you have going into the mid game, what do you expect a very under-level tree to do? Tree and Protector right now gonna be hitting level 3, but for the most part, he doesn't contribute anything to the team offensively. Now, defensively, he's annoying, but he doesn't help you push, he doesn't help you gank. It's just, I don't know.
And IG, well, they'll just continue to put pressure on this lane. It's like you said, he doesn't really help you that much offensively until he hits level 6. But I think the big thing for Navi is just to get through this laning stage. Darkseer can be your offense with a really good start. Early mech for Funnick allows OD to dive more, allows him to be more aggressive. And they are on the dire side, potentially could go for Roche fairly early because they have Outworld Devour. His orb is pure damage, really brings Roshan down in a hurry. So I don't think all is lost. A burrow through the creeps. Chuan is going to whiff that one. No engagement just yet. Navi, no real offense in this trial. The offense will have to come mostly from the Darkseer. Dendy's OD, mostly just a farmy mid. I think it is a lot of pressure on Funnick, but an early mech will feel that aggression.
It seems like IG is kind of giving up their early game, at least the option to play offensively early on. They will just say, you know what, let's just passively out-farm you. Windrunner is doing an excellent job. 33 CS on an offensive trialing Windrunner, and doing a fairly decent job of keeping Havos down. Of course, the mid is somewhat still being lost. Are they going to go now that Living Armor's down? No. Still just harassing, keeping Havos off the creeps.
It's still really hard to go, because if you go, and even if you burrow strike Havos before he rages, Croaky can just lift whoever else hasn't come in yet, say YY off with Shackle, and hold him in place. You can lift the Visage so he doesn't get off a Soul Assumption. It's nearly impossible to find a kill, but bottom lane, Funnick, he will find one on 430 solo. Chuan's rotated in. It's a bit too late, and now Funnick surges forward. He's going for the gusto here. He wants to bring down Chuan as well. No way out for him. Dendy finds a solo kill mid in the meantime. Zhou dropping to that. The Living Armor doing so much work. Iron Shell won't be, continues to be there. Sandstorm won't save you from this. Navi now 4-1. Absolutely crushing this laning stage. Weaver has died twice solo to a Darkseer. 430 just playing too aggressively. I mean, getting caught without Sakuchi.
One of the things that the analysts brought up is that IG expectedly generally has higher individual skills. They're giving away free kills, but Kuroki up top perhaps a little bit of trouble. Soul Assumption will seal the deal there. That's one kill. They want to actually rotate on Faith. YYF popping the Windrunner and should be able to make it home. He has Face Boots available, and that's a good exchange for IG. But yeah, IG playing fairly sloppily. How do you actually die to a Darkseer as a Weaver?
Yeah, he keeps on trying to contest this jungle pulling of Funnick. He keeps on running towards the neutrals, trying to kill him or harass him when he's doing the extra farming, and just getting caught out without Sakuchi. That's the only way you could possibly die to a Darkseer. A little bit greedy from 430. Ink rotating towards the middle lane. They might look to make a go here. Zhou is level 6, not in his true form. Oh, this could be a costly mistake if he doesn't activate it now. He hits level 7. Still not popping it, and in comes Dendy. He's got an Invis Rune. Unfortunately, he Astrals after true form has been cast. I believe it's gone off. Yes, it has. Zhou, too tanky. Well, that Astral actually helped him in that case. And the OD ult, well, cooling down now. It looks like he used it to get that last kill on Zhou.
Yeah, and Teleport Scroll being forced out into Sand King. He cancels it. He's still back on the top lane. 135 gold down the drain. Not too bad. But IG needs to keep a little bit of pressure. Here comes the Teleport Scroll. Early Teleport Scroll on the Weaver. He doesn't have anything. Like, he doesn't have a medallion. There's no way that he really can do much, but looks like they're going for a kill. It's going to be a ton of spell being dropped on Havos and Swarm being used as well. They could die for Kuroki if that's what they want to do, or start focusing on this tier 1. I thought Ferrari's not going to do too much, but hey, every damage helps, and they were able to pick up a kill.
The only really strong defensive team fight here that Navi have is the Darkseer right now, and without him in the fights, without a mech yet, they can't actually defend their towers. So I like this rotation a lot from IG. They find a kill with a great Burrow Strike Shackle Shot combo. Havos just no chance to rage out of it. And now they can take a tower off of it. The early rate of Aquila on 430, giving the creep some extra armor while he's there. Buckler, as well as the Reign of Basilius on YYF, so they didn't even need 430's Reign of Aquila. But they'll take a tier 1 top, and this is going to buy them a mech a bit sooner. For Funnick, should have one very quickly, though. Finding multiple kills, the tier 1 falls bottom while this is all happening. And for Navi, it's definitely not a bad scenario. The biggest thing they need right now is the Funnick mech, and at the rate he's going, he'll have it even before IG.
He should be having it relatively soon. The tier 1 already dropped a little bit earlier, so I didn't even well, they already lost it, but they didn't lose anything from the rotation up top. Weaver got the last hit on the tower, so he definitely made back any gold that he possibly lost. And now he's looking for runes, starting to maybe put a little bit of pressure on the mid and bot lane. How's Dendi doing? We see him kind of getting individual kills. He's getting runes and all those sorts. He's going to be going for a mech instead.
Well, getting a casual buckler is decent on OD because you can use it just to proc your Essence Aura, but you don't really need it. Once you have a max Essence Aura and just one item, generally you have permanent mana. So a casual buckler as well as the mech, the armor bonus does stack, right? I believe.
Yeah, it does stack, but you're using 800 gold to proc that. I mean, you already have Tranquil Boot, so I can't imagine that's the reason why he's... You never really have mana issues as OD, so...
Yeah.
Either that's a...
It must just be for the armor. It is a big investment, but you're up against Weaver as well as a Lone Druid. A lot of physical damage, a lot of armor, or rather a lot of mine is armor from the Swarm. It's not... It's a little bit unusual. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad pickup. We're just going to have to wait and see how it pans out.
I'm not sure whether I would have done it. It's 800 gold. That could have been going towards your 4-staff. You could have more armor, or you could just not get hit. So it's very questionable. Let's see if it's going to pay off. The armor is very, very nice. It's going to help you push. But that's another item that doesn't do much for you. They already have heroes like Tree and Protector. You need every bit of damage you get from OD.
I guess that's the one concern here. Is Navi, they're leading this game. 500 gold, 2,500 experience lead, and this item doesn't really help you get kills. It's just a defensive item. And like you said, their heroes aren't really the best offensive. They don't have the best firepower this game. Does it make sense to be playing defensively and building defensively when you're ahead and when IG have great farming heroes? Lone Druid, Windrunner, Weaver, fantastic heroes to benefit from farm and to secure that farm if they're not under pressure. Even an early Scythe of Vice Rush might have been okay. But all that being said, Lumi, he's got a Staff of Wizardry up. Dendi is still going to find a very early 4-staff. And Navi, mech as well as the buckler grouped up. They're going to look to push mid.
Yeah, speaking of mech, YY has won well, and here comes a tier 1 push. We do see multiple teleportation coming from the form of IG. It's going to be a tough one to defend. They do have Swarm available, but Havos, as well as the rest of Navi, has joined the fray. Or do they want to initiate? They're going to focus on Funnick. That's a dangerous one to go on. Shackle Shot, not going to last. Soul Assumption is going to hit, forcing out the mech. Funnick dropping the vacuum. Huge ultimate from Dendi. Can they get too much, though? Puppy gets a kill with this big fist. Faith being drawn back. Soul Assumption.
Nice and fast inside. Dendi will be able to retreat out. Navi, they find a Sand Cane and they back off. That was just not a great initiation from Chuan. Only Burrow strikes one hero. The Shackle Shot doesn't connect. If he had hit 2, or if the Shackle Shot's there, I think IG actually gets a kill and it turns out alright, but...
Where was the mech from YYF? I think he dropped the ball a little bit there as well.
Yeah, never. I guess he'd ran out of mana.
No, he was full. I was looking at him.
Well, just chose not to use it then. Wasn't in range, I suppose. That's unfortunate. Just not the smoothest initiation from IG, but they don't lose a tower at the end of the day, and Navi don't have the best tower killing lineup. They've got a strong push squad with Buckler as well as Mech, just in terms of being tanky and hard to kill, but they're not just the best at mowing down tower. So all is definitely not lost for IG, but Navi now lead by 1,000 gold, 3,000 experience, and things are looking pretty decent for them. If Navi can manage to take the tier 1, if they do win a fight, they can head into the Roche pit. With a Lifestealer and with OD, you've got a hero that can tank. Living Armor will help there as well. The Mech, the Buckler, and the OD Orb to kill Roshan quickly. So I think Navi just looking for one big fight, and if they win that, they'll go Roche.
Well, for now, they don't find that fight. Ferrari up top here, looking to play fairly aggressively. He's been roaming all over the map, going for a fairly early game build. Sees Puppy. I think he could get a kill if he gets a Swarm. Swarm is on top. The Living Armor is trying to help out, and I do believe Puppy is going to be dead. He's trying to Sakuchi in for the kill, and he should be... The jukes not going to be there. Time lapse backwards, and he's going to go south instead. Nice solo pickup. You need to get kills like that if you're playing this kind of aggressive early game Weaver.
Despite the great early start that Navi had, all the cores of IG are farming. Joe died repeatedly. He is 0-1. I guess he only died the one time, but he was on the back foot repeatedly is what I should say. He's still sitting at decent CS now, 55 and 18, and there's nobody for Navi that could just go get kills. That's kind of the concern here. You gave Dendi OD, and like Merlini was saying in the drafting stage, is it a Dendi hero? He's won his lane, that's great, but who's going to be the hero that lets Navi just take fights, find kills, and make plays from here? Maybe it's just Kuroki's Rubik.
Yeah, they also need to... There's a heavier emphasis on winning fights for Navi, because if this game goes long, they don't have any split pushing heroes. That's definitely one of big weakness of OD, as he's looking for that disruption, maybe he's trying to set up his ally. Meanwhile, if you look at IG side, they got Windrunner, they got Lone Druid, they got Weaver. All of these are great split pushing heroes. Looks like Smoke Up on the mid lane, trying to make it go on Dendi. Dendi, though, with 4 staff and Buckler and Astral Imprisonment, and of course Living Armor on top. Good luck on getting a kill on him.
And Funnick continues to apply pressure bottom lane. He's gone back for a pair of Arcane Boots, but Joe ushers him off the lane. The supports will come in. I would like to see IG try and squeeze in some pulls here or there because Chuan is a bit desperately poor. They'll start just farming the neutrals, which is fine as well. You do want to get him level 7, at least get access to Epicenter, and ideally at some point this game, they will want to Blink Dagger on him because right now it's only mm who can really initiate the fights. If Chuan just walks in, he could be Astral, Burrow Strike can easily be stolen, the Rubik can lift him. There's a lot of ways for Navi to counter-initiate, and Chuan will need a blink as this game drags on. So I like the fact they're jungling him. Realistically, YYF is probably not going to die mid unless Navi send 3 or 4. They park one farmer in each lane, the Lone Druid bottom, the Windrunner mid, the Weaver top, and now IG are just going to try and farm this one out. And frankly, I think they've got the slightly better lineup to just sit back and farm. Navi are going to have to push, and they start doing it now.
They farm better, they split push better. Maybe these early game tower defense is going to be a little bit tough for them, but the birds in front trying to annoy, and they just want to delay. It's Lone Druid farming against a Darkseer. It's a Weaver that's farm against Lifestealer. And Havos, he's got no farm. He's got Phase and Drums. Great kind of shutdown harassment lane that IG put up top with featuring the Windrunner. And, well,
the one other awkward thing is he doesn't have a way to deliver him to the fight. There's no Infest Bomb. Maybe Funnick gets a Blink Dagger this game, but you know, Dendy's nowhere near one for the time being. And we'll actually see a backstab from Havost. He's picked up an Illusion Rune. Nothing if not aggressive, this guy. And he's wrapping around mid now. He'll send in one Lifestealer. Not the real one, though. He's still lurking. He's still waiting. Joe, tucked away behind the tower. Has to be careful. Havost still waiting.
You can always search Havost.
Prepared to jump. 430 has a TP. Hasn't joined the fight yet. The tower taking more and more damage. And the Radiant Courier actually does go down in the midst of it. Dropped a bottle. Havost sniped it. And now, Funnick working on the tower. Will be denied. No, not going to be denied. Goes to Dendy. Now an Astral. And this could be trouble for our Lone Druid. Joe gets back in. Shackles there. Connects on 2. Now, Dendy taking quite a bit of damage, but Chuan comes forward. Still looking for something good to steal. Unfortunately, he's just given away Burrow Strike to Kurogi. Now, Faith finds a kill on Dendy. The OD does fall in the end for a tier 1. Infest out from Havost. Tries to escape.
They all are on top of Havost, and I think they could actually turn around with this fight. If you get a
no,
Burrow
he
Strike,
pops back out. Here he goes. He wants to rejoin the fight. Puppy, no overgrowth yet. The stolen Burrow Strike. Now a back in. This is all looking bad. Great burrow from Tron. Catches a few. Gets lifted up. Gets thrown back. Denny rejoins the fight. He bought back for this, and the chase is on. IG forced to retreat out. Faith to the high ground. Running quickly, but Funnick giving beautiful chase. Your defensive, or rather your offensive Astral from Dendy, setting up what should be yet another kill. They all hit the deck. And the worst thing for Navi, or for IG in that fight, was they gave Kurogi Burrow Strike. One of the worst spells you can ever give away. Chuan just cannot find a good opening to go in.
It's hard game for him to play Sand King because there's so many ways to shut him down. Vacuum is a great AoE. Telekinesis Lift is instant, so you just cannot expect to channel your ultimate. For me, it was a little bit of a greedy play from IG. They know the Lifestealer was right next to them. They know Burrow Strike was stolen. Those are not the conditions you want to take fight in. They force out a buyback from Navi, but it's like you say, they win a fight, they secure any type of map advantage. They go into the pit because they have the damage for it, and they have the mech for it as well. And right now, IG's got to respond. They're sending the birds. It's going to delay with some stuns, but they got to rotate a little bit quicker.
Yeah, IG just can't find a good initiation in these fights. It's Navi making a nice split, having so many defensive abilities. The Force Staff, the Astral. We're going to have a Roche engagement right now as, well, the Familiars come in and scout things out. Navi still lurking in the pit. IG starting to cluster up. They are smoke for this. YYF has the mech. Maybe going to look to make a go. Power shot available. Navi still lurking. The bear comes in first. It's going to take a lot of damage. Gets thrown back. Gets open wounds as well. In comes the swarm. The Familiars. No stun available. Now a vacuum Burrow Strike combination. IG on the run, but they do mech up. Puppy holds 2 more in place. Another burrow through from Tron. That shackle's gonna land. This could be bad, but they don't seem to have enough damage. Dendy forces away. 430 driven back. Still IG stands strong. Navi as well. Nobody dies yet. Such defensive teams. Kurogi has stolen Burrow Strike again. On the other side of the fight, Havost cleans up 430. Guts picked off there. A big death for him. No Weaver. One of their most important heroes to contest the Roche. And now they're on the run. The Familiar's being hunted. This ghoul wants some food. He's going to find Faith in a matter of seconds. No. Heads to the right. Havost will miss him. And Navi, they say, let's take that Roche. We've worked so hard for it.
When you're losing in terms of damage output against a Tree and Protector, something is really wrong. And it just shows you the weakness of a Lone Druid that's not too farm, and the Weaver that's been dying a little bit too many times early on. I mean, sure, Treant's not doing much. He dropped Overgrowth. He has a Medallion. He has something for the team. And the lack of damage output for the rest of the team, maybe it's the mech and the buckler that's really denying any type of physical damage that the IG team is doing. Maybe the buckler is actually a thing.
The buckler is doing a lot of work, and IG just giving up Burrow Strike repeatedly in this fight is really costing them. Chuan only has 1 point Sandstorm. He's got a very long cooldown. We've seen a lot of the Chinese Sand Canes do like to level up stats, but, well, it can cost you. It certainly costs them here. Chuan will tuck himself away behind the tree line. Should be okay, but Navi driving Chuan to the ends of the earth. Now things get really scary, because the damage that Navi was lacking earlier will begin to come out. Havost, I believe something on the courier for him, working towards an armlet. Dendi can start to work towards a Scythe device, and once they get a Scythe device on Dendi, once Havost gets that armlet, the damage they were lacking is going to be there. And that's where if Kuroki steals Burrow Strike and burrows and catches a few, during that time, Dendi and Havost might just be able to burst those heroes down. IG need more items. They need to tank up. They have a decent amount of damage in a sustained fight, but right now feeling a bit squishy to me.
Yeah, 430 is going to be going for a BKB, which I'm not too sure whether I'm a big fan of. Overgrowth will be able to shut him down. You still, well, I mean, it blocks a lot of OD spells. And
you could still BKB out of Overgrowth. The bigger concern is just going to be, if he gets Scythed, this BKB won't matter, but I feel IG, they just have to get whatever they can farm now, because the push is coming. Navi trying to break the high ground. It's only 21 minutes in, but Navi want to start this best of 3 off the right way with a Game 1 win. They'll back off, but no reason to go back to Fountain. You've got Living Armor. You've got Mech. They'll settle for an aggressive Observer Ward and then farming the enemy jungle. They're biding their time, and I think the biggest item they could use is the Funnic Pipe, which is coming soon. He's got a hood. In fact, he's already got a pipe. 21 minutes in, he's your lead farmer. This is a really big item. With this and now an armlet, they might just be able to break the base.
IG just can't fight right now. They shouldn't fight. Just defend on the tower and keep farming. Again, they have better split pushers, and they're not split pushing.
We're trying to get Kawa's attention. He's in a trance. But, yeah, for Navi, continuing to farm. Bruno didn't like that one very much. Navi continued to farm, and now they're going to push down the mid lane. Havost leading the way. And he's by himself, a little bit out there. IG just not knowing that Navi's coming. And, well, with that being said, guys, what do you think over at the desk, Bruno, Merlini? How do you feel about the way game's progressing so far?
Well, we talked about how important it was for IG to dominate in the laning stage. I think Dendi won that pretty handily.
Right. I didn't actually like the item choice on him. I think Orb of Venom is good, but not versus a tree. He should have gotten a Stout Shield or Quelling Blade so he could farm more, and now he can't really do that much. Also,
Shackle to latch mid lane, Dendi? No, they're not going to go just yet. Continue.
And I think, again, you really rely on player skill, and in the even matchup, relatively even matchup, I would actually give it to Weaver in the Weaver versus Darkseer, but you have to worry about Living Armor. IG weren't prepared for this, maybe a little bit of a slip-up in the bottom lane by the Weaver. I think they rely a little bit too much on player skill, and when you have Living Armor to upset that balance, it just completely changes the game around.
I agree, absolutely. And one last thing. Oh, another Shackle. Will they go this time? Let's see.
Double Familiar Stone. We might have an engagement here. Defensive Astral from Dendi. Tries to buy some time. Pavos working on the creeps. Ion showed up. And it looks like Navi. It's just so hard to fight into this team.
That's okay, though, because they're defending the tower. Not only that, look at the Weaver. He's split pushing a bot. And forces a TP. I think that's definitely an IG victory.
Well, it's still their tier 2. Takes a lot of damage here. They do force 1 TP. 430 will work towards his next item. Now, the BKB is coming soon for him. And to talk more about what they were saying, the laning stage has been lost by IG. That much is clear. They now trail by about 8k gold, about 3k experience. So obviously Navi in a good position. They haven't broken the base yet. And IG have quite a few heroes that benefit from farming. They have the slightly better split pushing lineup. This is where Navi need to get their next big items. The Scythe device on Dendi, that's probably your most important item. And beyond that, maybe a Havost Basher. Something just to give them some additional lockdown, because they are still a bit lacking, aside from if Kuroki's stealing Burrow Strike.
Yeah, 430 now rotates up top slowly. He knows there's going to be a big contention. No, he's just checking for the rune. A little bit of slow siege on that particular tower. I don't think IG should slow siege either. It's just too much time being wasted. And you're not even guaranteed to get the tower, especially against a Living Armor, heal, and damage block. So, again, IG, just farm. Just go do what they do best as agents.
Well stated, Lumi. Very smooth. And we'll see Dendi, Astral, this lone druid. Joe could actually be in a bit of trouble here. He'll need an entangle. He gets one on Dendi. Force staff still available. Has an Aegis as well. Not going to commit just yet. Now Joe looks to TP out, but a blink from Kuroki. He's caught him. He'll throw him back into the meat grinder. Everybody's following. And that tanky lone druid, not long for this world. Not when that pure damage orb is slicing through his armor.
That's a pretty bad pickoff. I think tier 2 is going to be dead. IG can't really get the lane. The creep equilibrium being pushed out on any of the lane. And yeah, here comes the Navi rotation. Just don't get pick off. Stay ward up. And speaking of wards, if you look at the Radiant jungle, look at this like Congo lines of dire wards. They see the entire jungle, and that's what made the pickoff possible.
Meanwhile, mid lane, the Familiars will go down more gold into Navi's pockets. Dendi farming the creep wave here, and it looks like they're going to push off of this. They have the Blink Dagger and Kuroki. We saw it unveiled in the last fight. Now if he steals Burrow Strike, he is absolutely terrifying. I don't even want to think about Epicenter going his way, but Burrow Strike, honestly, probably the more important ability to steal. And Navi, they'll take a tier 2 mid. There's only 2 towers left top. The tier 1 pretty much indefensible for IG. At this point, Lumi, I think they just have to make their stand inside the base, split push, avoid fights, and angle for 30, 40 minutes from now. Well, maybe not that long, 20 or 30, because right now, fighting 5v5 against a Pipe, a Mech, Living Armor, OD ult, a Scythe of Vice, and a Lifestealer who's got decent farm is just an unwinnable proposition.
Oh, what did he steal? Did he steal a Burrow Strike? Oh no. Kuroki's got Blink and Burrow, so this is a nasty sanking.
Chuan has got to do a better job of protecting his Burrow Strike.
Meanwhile,
That's like the 3rd or 4th time he's given away.
Up
And
top, YYF in a little bit of trouble. TP comes in. Can he land that Shackle though? Who is it TPing? Just a Weaver. I don't think they could chase him down. And actually, Funnick runs
there's
right
an
back
infest
in.
bomb. Kuroki is going to be the way to deliver Havos in these fights. Scratch that thought, he says. I'm feeling a little squishy. He has 700 HP. That would be a little bold.
If you steal some Sandstorms and...
Yeah, I don't know about that. He's still got 700 HP. That's like 1 Soul Assumption, 1 Burrow Strike.
But for now, they back off. And again, IG, the entire team forced a TP up top. They got to make something of it. I think at worst, you just farm these creeps and get back. Really no reason to push. Lone Drew is not with you. He's just farming in the jungle right now.
They could go on Havos here. Shackle's
way
available. They burrow in. Epicenter being channeled. Shackle won't connect. Now the Rage comes out, and it looks really bad. That catches 2, or rather just 1. In comes the entirety of Navi's squad. While that's happening, Lifestealer forced to run away. The OD ult does get dropped, or not dropped, but just the orbs rather. YYF's going to fall. Faith on the way out. Overgrowth canceled by Puppey. Had it, but just didn't know if there was a hero there. The good news for IG is Zhou is pressuring the middle lane. The bad news is now he's got to run because TP's come in.
Again, Zoe was over here farming the high-level camps, and then his team decides to take the fight up top, and Zoe says, well, I can't do anything. I can't TP up top. I don't have one. I chose to not TP, so I decided to push tier 1.
I honestly don't know why they're taking these fights.
There's no reason to.
They should just be split pushing. They should be stalling. Ganking into a Lifestealer and OD who's got Astral as well as Living Armor.
He's got Hex now.
It's just unbearably hard to get a kill. Navi are like the most annoying lineup in the game to find kills against. And IG behind like this should not be pressing nearly this much.
Yeah, that Hex on OD just means that every outer tower is going to be basically gone. There's not enough items on the BKB or on the Weaver because he was trying to team fight against Navi. I felt like IG, they have the better heroes, but they're not playing those heroes to the potential. BKB is going to be finished hopefully before the next push. Are they going to snipe off that courier? They've seen it, but...
Yeah, the courier will narrowly escape back to the base. But while that's happening, Familiars get farmed by Dendi. More gold into his pockets, and the rich get richer. Navi, your 3 lead farmers for this game. In terms of creep stats, Havos a bit behind, but still, Dendi at 11k net worth. And now this is the time where Funnick can work towards a Shiva's Guard or a Scythe of Ice. Either would be fantastic. The lockdown great against Weaver, the AoE great when you have an OD. And either way, Navi's teamfight is looking pretty sensational at this point.
Oh, 430.
Overgrowth was used by Puppey. Just a split-second lace could not cancel the TP. But in the end, he will escape. Still, it's looking better and better for Navi. With this level of items and with such a tanky lineup, I honestly think they just wait for Roshan number 2. They 5-man down mid. And IG, the magic damage will do nothing against Pipe Mech. They don't have enough burst to kill any of these heroes. Navi are in a very good position in game number 1.
Yeah, I think right now IG's best hope is to farm and get so tanky that you outlast the mech and Pipe. And trying to outlast the OD is oftentimes a winning or losing proposition. And now Rubik steals himself some Sakuchi. You could see that Chuan has been farming up top for that Blink Dagger. He's going to have it in about 1 more creep wave, but I think he has to be back.
This could be important just to help find pickoffs, but in a 5v5 clash, can they actually burst anyone down? The only hero they could maybe burst is Kuroki, and that's assuming the Pipe, the Mech, the Living Armor aren't all going off on him, because if they are, I just don't know if they got it. IG have much more of a sustained teamfight lineup. Even an Epicenter is damage over time, over a couple of seconds. Weaver, a sustained DPS hero. Same for your Lone Druid, same for your Windrunner. No burst, and that means Navi will get off nearly all of their defensive cooldowns. They'll wait for the second Roshir Lumi. If they get this, and IG give it up, it is going to be very, very, very hard to defend this next push.
Did IG write down the Roche timer? Because YYF, if he knows Roshan's going on, he should be getting
They
tier
really
2.
can't contest.
Yeah, they can't contest, so they should get tier 2 up top. Like,
And it
he should
looks
be hitting on
that's what they're doing.
Yeah, you cannot give away any freebies, and you can't fight Roche, so might as well fight that tier 2.
They'll send the familiars here as well to assist YYF. He gets some artillery support. And now, focus fire deployed on the tower. The glyph was forced out. They got to kill this, or it'll just come back to full HP, but a double teleport from Navi. Aegis to Dendi. This is looking good for Navi fans everywhere. And they'll find some familiars here as well. They need to be resummoned. There's no resummon available. That's going to be another 100, maybe 200 gold going the way of Dendi. He is one-shotting familiars. They are looking rather useless this game. The other familiar will escape south.
That's like the 6 or 7 bird that he fed. Those are...
It's hard against OD. His orb, that pure damage, doesn't care about your 98% magic resistance. Kuroki now with a stolen Sakuchi is hunting in the river. Faith will pick up an invis. Fortunately for him, should be able to escape.
There's a Central War available on Kuroki. He's got Bling, he's got Sakuchi. You don't run from him, and Faith gets picked up and gets picked off.
Come over here, and Havost will find a very fortunate bash. They probably had that kill anyway. Now Navi, they find a pick-off. Familiar's not even available to be resummoned for 10 seconds. Is there buyback on that Visage? There is not. That's 25 seconds on the sideline, and it's high time for Navi to try and take game 1. 31 minutes in, they now lead by 14,000 gold, 5,000 experience. Here comes your death ball. Dendi, Puppy, Funnick, Havost, and Kuroki, 5 men grouped up. They've traveled from Ukraine all the way to China, or from the rest of Eastern Europe, and they want to try and take this first lane of Rex. They're working on it now, and it's so hard to see how IG even get involved in this fight. YYF throwing out power shots from his own tier 4 on the Radiant side. Shackle to Fly will not connect on Havost. And Navi, the confidence for Kuroki, jumps in. He'll steal a Shackle shot. That's a level 4 Shackle.
Oh, God.
At least it's not a guaranteed stun like Burrow Strike, at least not a long one, but this still could hurt a whole lot.
In fights like these where you have so much time to go dance back and forth, they just need a Shackle. And if that thing latch a hero or even 2, you lose that team fight. So
Captain Puppy, he's the tall one, and how appropriately he's playing the tree. He will place an Observer Ward on the high ground, or attempt to, rather. Navi now working on the tower. They bring the bear low. They medallion it. They back it back in. They've used a lot to kill this bear. Shackled as well. Catches 430. Will Dendi release the pain train? He won't, because he gets double familiar stunned. Great disengage by Faith, bailing out his team from what could have been a rather awful fight.
why isn't Weaver split pushing bot? That's my question. He was there. I'm not sure why he TP back, and now he's sitting here and doing nothing, because there's no way that IG is going to waltz out the base and take a fight. And of course, Navi don't. Oh, Shackle, that's going to hit. Force that forward. Beautiful play, but where's the burst damage? There's nothing just yet. Here comes the burst damage from Dendi, and he is just mauling people apart. Havost runs in, he runs back out, and the BKB on Ferrari trying to do something, but everybody's at full HP.
YYF did die. He bought back, however. The bear takes a couple of auto attacks. Shackle to Fly. That was a pretty cute Shackle, to say the least. Now Kuroki blinks in, leaps, pulls back one, rather. IG on the run. Funnick giving chase, backs back Faith, and now one bash could spell his downfall. He gets blown up. IG getting overwhelmed. Chuan delivers a magnificent epicenter and a burrow strike on 3-4 heroes, but it doesn't matter. Kuroki blinks, burrows and clips 2. Now lifts Joe back. This Rubik is doing way too much heavy lifting, and IG are crushed in game 1 of this best of 3. They lose it 15-6. The gold lead over 17,000. The experience lead over 8,000. We head to game 3 with Navi only one game away from a guaranteed top 3 finish in the Alienware Cup.
I am just not impressed with IG's IQ this game. It felt like they were not sure of what to do. Is this the same team that took International too? I'm not sure.
I don't know if it's fair to say it's IQ. I felt like it was more just individual play from Navi, just dominating. Darkseer finding solo kills on Weaver. That probably shouldn't happen, but that requires some spectacular play from Funnick to make it happen. Dendi last hitting like a boss mid, and the Triumph pick really paying off here. I thought it was Navi just playing really well.
But for Navi's hero, it's fairly one-dimensional. You know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to farm up, get hexed, slow siege with things like mech and pipe. And the lack of IQ of IG says, yeah, we won't split push. We'll try to take team fights. We'll try to defend towers with what? Familiar birds that gets one shot with a bear that's not farmed? I am not impressed with this IG.
I think they should have done better in those solo lanes. That's the big concern I have. Dendi finds a solo kill on the enemy lone druid. The Weaver gets killed off twice by Funnick. Great play from Funnick and Dendi to make that happen, but those are very hard matchups to get kills in, to say the least. Bruno, Merlini, what the hell went wrong there for IG?
Getting armor,
Just living armor, is that
Living
it?
armor.
That easy?
I mean, I played so many mid matchups that I was like, oh man, I'm gonna crush this guy, which is what most Syllabears would do versus an OD or Weaver in a safe lane versus Darkseer, and then you just get obliterated by living armor. I also didn't think that they should have done an aggressive triple lane. They didn't get anything out of it, and I think that they could have played more greedily versus the lineup. Sure, Nyx is gonna get free farm, but at the same time, you can sort of abuse your jungle and. You can't play aggressively versus Tree. He'll just heal everything up, and you'll lose out in the trade-offs if you play aggressive.
I actually disagree with that statement. I think the only lane that went in IG's way was the aggressive tri lane because Havos, such a great player, underfarmed and all, won the game, but he was very, very underfarmed. I think he got his armlet past 20 minutes into the game. Granted, he went for transfers, but he had probably the worst time of all the farmers in Navi, while Darkseer pretty much did what he want, and OD, of course, destroyed the Lone Druid mid by virtue of the living armor. I think that
their triple lane wasn't meant to win though. It's a life stealer, a Ruvik who doesn't.
No. You can't kill that, but
Yeah,
you can delay the farm, which is what they did. I think they were putting more emphasis on. I think Weaver versus Darkseer is not necessarily a bad matchup for Weaver.
It's a good matchup for him.
Yeah. I mean, then again, living armor, whatever. And Lone Druid versus OD, while I wouldn't say it's a matchup that Lone Druid wins all the time, as I said, it's kind of hard as well. It's probably the best matchup that you can put there. So IG was quite understanding of what the lanes were going to be, and they, in their mental images, like, okay, if we get 2 out of the 3 lanes, we can control the game.
Right.
They only got half
of one.
Here's the thing. I want to remind everybody, like, living armor has a 25-second cooldown.
It's 15.
15, not 25.
14 actually, I think, or 15, I don't know.
Or it costs. My point it's trying to make is it's not
It's global.
I'm
You
just
can't use
losing
it on everyone.
You cannot use it on everyone. So when Weaver is stomping on the Darkseer bot, when Bear is stomping on OD mid, or it should happen, and when the fact that they're initiating on the top lane every time, who the hell is Puppy gonna living armor? There is so much opening all over the map, and why did IG lose 4 solo kills?
3. It was 3. The Lone Druid didn't die twice. I misspoke there, but
okay.
It was still bad.
Still 3 more than they should.
Yeah.
Yes. I think one of it
It's a very small window, though. It is only 15 seconds, and it lasts for quite a while.
He really needed a stout shield, though. Like, his bear was so low, just from trying to harass Dendi, and again, you try and get the living armor procs off because you can't just let OD free farm, and then his bear tanks a lot of damage, and then once it's low, you're in a really compromising position because you can't really do anything with it. If you resummon and then you die, like he did, then you just straight up lose a lane right there. If you Orb of Venom is meant for harassing, is meant for pushing an opponent out of lane. It's not possible in that matchup with the tree armor. If you go for a more defensive farmy build, which I think would have been better in the mid lane because you can't out harass the OD, then you can actually get ahead in CS. I think he was like 2-2 versus Dendi 7 just a couple minutes in, and then it just went all downhill from there. And then great play from Funnick though, and I mean, I totally didn't expect him to get 2 kills on Weaver.
Yeah, two solo kills on Weaver, and huge. The second one he got, Chuan was actually there. They even rotated their Sand Cane off the lane to try and shut Funnick down.
Huge plays by Kuroki too.
Yeah. I mean, people say he only plays Rubik. That's a lie. He plays every single hero when he plays Rubik.
Yeah. I think it's something that you've harped on a lot, Merlini, though, and we saw it again today, is these Sand King players have to do a better job of protecting Burrow Strike. Yes. He gave it away like I don't mean to pick on Tron, but come on. He gave it away like 4 or 5 times that game.
It's the build that
Beat the play.
It's the build that he's going for.
It's only 1 point.
Yeah, it has lots of cooldown.
I absolutely hate the 1 Sandstorm build.
I think the build is okay, but you can't do it against Rubik. You can get a little bit greedy against like other you get stats, you know, but you cannot have 1 point Sandstorm against Rubik. That just doesn't work.
So what do you think that IG needs to do better in order to win next game? Do they just straight up ban Tree and try and outplay them at the game that they were trying to do, or?
I think they could have still won that game. I don't feel like Navi just won because they got Tree. It's like you were talking about. It's because IG didn't seem to understand how to play against Tree. The Orb of Venom, worthless against the Tree. You're not going to harass OD out of lane. Could have focused more on farming. I think just could have played safer. Like 430 was so intent on contesting Funnick when he's pulling the creeps. Don't be. Just farm in the lane. You're farming a semi-carry in exchange for a Darkseer. And you're shutting down Havost in the tri-lane. If they were just a little more patient and kind of relaxed and just farmed and tried to win that way, I think IG were actually going to come out on top because the Weaver was winning. He was winning on CS until he gave up kills. 430 was winning that lane, and then the tri lane they were winning there. Yes, they were losing mid a bit. Dendy was out farming Joe pretty damn heavily, but it's a lone druid. Once he gets access to Entangle, once he hits level 6 and he's in Big Bear form, it's a lot harder to kill him, and he can try to bully the OD a bit more and get more aggressive then.
So just better Dota IQ.
And just a little bit more patient, I think. It seemed like they were really raring to go. Like too jumpy.
What if
they were?
What if? Do you think, for example, because when you have 3, of course, the lanes are going to be easy to use. So I would suggest banning Wisp and 3 just to remove that from the equation. But because Navi has this playstyle that when they got what they wanted, they started grouping as a 5. They got the mid towers and they got the bottom towers. It's very intelligent, I think, to leave the top towers for last because they have little to no significance in terms of map awareness. If you get to kill the 2 towers from mid and bottom, you can control the Roshan pit. It's just not as important to take those first 2 towers from Radiant, which pretty much all they give you is access to the secret shop. But what if, given that Navi is playing as this 5-man Dota, IG would experiment and say, let's go with the split push kind of lineup? Do you think IG can?
They had a split push lineup.
Well, no, they didn't play like an split push.
That's it. They have to play their
one.
lineup. They had this split push lineup.
Well,
I'm so freaking angry with IG right now.
It's okay, Lumi.
It's going to be fine.
Did you bet on them, Lumi?
No.
His prayers. All right, guys, thank you all for joining us. It is a best of 3. IG now trails Navi 1-0 in that best of 3. I'm LD. He's Lumi. They're Bruno and Merlini. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be live with Game 2. And stay tuned for that.